think this election is going to be very competitive.
We all know our stuff. We're all very involved at the moment.
I've been a competitor since God knows when.
I think we have some strong candidates, and I think every one of them, all 11 of us, are advocating for great things across campus and great things for IPSGA.
I think this will be the closest election that I have seen while at IPFW. I think we have two very strong tickets, as well as a few independent candidates that are very strong in many ways.
It's really the student's choice. It's an open, free, and democratic election, something that over the world people are aspiring to, and we have it right here.
Alright guys, my name is Eric Smith. Hey, right now I'm in VP of Finance already, and we've made some drastic changes already, such as making everything online, scanning all formats in there also. But something I really want to get going, and I've got some good experience with this too, is to make it so when you submit a bill, organization, individual request form, you can view the process 24/7. You can view it right on the IPSGA website, and you can log in with a username and password, and then you can look at where the process is, if it's in Senate, if it's been passed, you know, and then you can go from there, or what is missing. And that's going to be a real great tool to help with organizations and individuals as they're going through with their request process, and they're not like, well, where do I go next? So we're trying to step up in the age, and you know, I could really bring that feature to IPSGA.
All right, Kody.
I'm Kody Tinnel, running for Vice President of Finance. I'd first like to thank the election board and Mastodon Minutes for bringing this event to you guys. Thank you for showing up, and thank you to all the candidates who are here to put out their ideas. What would I change if elected Vice President of Finance? I think the most important thing and the most relevant thing is students deserve to know where their money is being spent by student government. As he said, there's a $1.4 million budget. And you need to be able to easily access that information. Where's the money going? Who's getting the reward of money that's given out through Senate, through SAB? And what I would like to do is put all of that relevant financial information on the IPSJ website. So at any point, you know, Sunday night at 2 in the morning, you're up, you know, get bored with Facebook, you want to look at the finances of student government. I'm sure you're all thinking, yes, that's me. You can do so. All of that information will be easily available and ready for you to use, and then voice your opinions on how everything's being spent. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Anybody? Question right here.
Eric said how he wanted to bring that on the website. What kind of programming are you going to use to have that available, and how often will it be checked so that it will be updated?
The updates will be on there. You know, it's what's going to happen actually is it's going to be a Microsoft Word program based in HTML, which you can do that. You can go to the file, save as, and then what's going to happen is like when somebody goes in and updates it, it's going to say the date on it, so you're going to know last time it was checked. And then also the program that we're going to use is just going to be that Microsoft Word file is the one that they're going to bring up to overlook and check, and then they're just going to write a note in there of what process it's in. And that way you can look at it and everything. It's nothing going to be like Facebook style where, you know, it's going to be updated like every second or something. Unfortunately, I just don't have that technology, and the web server base is just quite big that IPSGA doesn't have right now. So, but it's going to be pretty basic with the Microsoft Word document.
You guys stated that you guys have goals, and if you get elected, you can do these things and whatnot, but after a year, you might not be in your position, you might leave the campus, whatnot, and I've noticed through the years that this happens a lot, and every year people want to do things differently, completely differently, and it wastes a lot of time, frankly. How will you try to ensure that this doesn't happen again, and you know, balances of power transfer better, basically?
I think that's a great question. Every year should not be reinventing the wheel. That really doesn't get much done for anyone. I think the important thing, if I'm elected, is to first off identify what structures we have in place that will work, that have proved to work, and then make sure to keep those around. Anything that's not working, then identify those, figure out how to slightly tweak those. I don't think any major drastic changes would be necessary based on what we have already in place. once we identify those, make the slight tweaks, identify ways that this can be implemented on a consistent basis from year to year, and make sure, in past years, the transitions between officers have not been as great as they could be. People either aren't being trained or the transitions are just iffy in general. I think we need to place a lot more emphasis on those transitions so that what works does get passed on from year to year. So.
It's like reinventing the wheel that you're saying. It's like taking the Ford Model T and going all the way up to the Ford 250, Improvements do be made on the same automobile and everything, and it's just going to be like in the IPSGA office. One example I can bring up is last year Eric Shepard was in there, and then he started off with a Gmail document, then I moved into a Microsoft Access document, which was giving another big improvement. It's just the small improvements that I think really help. And then when somebody tries to say, you know what, let's scratch that whole idea, let's go to something else, that's when you're reinventing the wheel. But if you go with what's already established and go one step above, and it's sometimes not easy to find. And I think that's where coming in, that'd be a great way to help. And for that online thing, it'd be a good 5 years up that I would have it ready. So, that great question, Andrew.
This is more directed toward you, Eric, current Vice President of Finance. Last year, during the debate, you got a question that asked you what you plan to do and what were some of the issues that were important to you. You mentioned issues concerning student housing, big concerts done at IPFW to bring more money in, and to hold forums for students to vouch ideas to IPSGA. How have you tackled those over the past year that you've been here? Yeah, that's pretty much it. How have you tackled those? What have you done?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cool. That's a great aspect. Let's look at the last year forum of when I debated. And the student housing issue, you're talking about the recycling issue, right?
All I have is issues with student housing. I didn't get a particular, I'm sorry.
Okay, anyways, this is what the idea was. It was about recycling. And I found it would be a good idea to bring Habitat for Humanity in. And everything worked out. And Habitat for Humanity had backed down off of it. So now we're looking at a new alternative, which is incorporating Jay from Ops. And they're getting something here established on IPFW, which is then going to move to student housing. But the whole recycling issue with the Habitat for Humanity was kind of dropped. And she just kind of didn't respond to me anymore, and had a pretty big problem with that.
What do you guys plan on doing to make sure that, maybe organizations here on campus have, efficient amount of help when they come to you? Like, as far as like budgeting the money so that when clubs come that they're like, it's slowed down. It's not like, okay, this club is getting like all this money and this club's getting all this money and this club isn't getting any money, or to make sure that this club does get money. What are you guys going to do with that? Like, how do you plan on like working that out?
I think that's a great question. It brings up essentially a fairness issue. First off, let me start out by saying the Vice President of Finance has much less discretionary power than many of the other positions within student government. However, there's still a lot of influence this position can have on those funding issues. If elected, I will work with whoever the Vice President of Legislation is and whoever is on the Student Senate to figure out some different ways of arranging the budget so that perhaps you divide up the funds. Half will be used in fall, half in the spring. To find a better way of balancing out everything and making sure that student groups that request money a little bit later in the year have access to do that. In addition, I think by giving out as much information as possible relating to money, the average amount of money requested, the average amount given, a lot of these statistical details, if you give those to the Student Senate, I think they will really use that information to then determine how they're going to spend money, who's going to receive it, etc. Thank you.
Right now, I'm creating a Microsoft Access program, so that way the organizations that do request money, they are calculated, and then when you double-click on that organization, Senate will be able to double-click on that organization, and then it will say what funding events they have received already, which will give an idea to the senators of like, okay, well, we funded this organization, 3,000 here, 4,000 here, 2,000, total of $9,000. And then they can say, well, let's think about some other organizations. And I mean, that's something that can all be done on Microsoft Access. David Jessler has started bringing a computer in, and now all we just need is to start working with that. And we have a laptop coming So then we can access the O-Drive, which is where the access program is at, and then they can see which people have received that funding amount. So that's going to be a great way.
I have a question for you. What if your computer crashed? What would you do then?
What do you mean?
Like, what if it crashes? What if your computer doesn't even start up? What would happen?
You got another laptop computer. Everything. See, I mean, the cool thing about IT, and I mean, here you're going to talk to me as a nerd, all right? And I mean, I guess I basically am. But you have it on the O-Drive, which is a drive that here is on a university campus, which is then backed up, I think it's on the Chicago premises, and then they have another backup. So I mean, let's say it does die on us Monday at 12:30, all right? We just imported 5 bills. That Sunday, every night, it's already backed up. So we can back up all the way to that Sunday, which is 18 hours ago, and we can get those 4 bills reprocessed.
What if you get a virus?
Well, see, then you got Novell. You know, you got Novell, the Novell Trust and everything, the Novell company. I mean, granted, you know, I mean, this is now 2000, you know, where you could have, like, people buying generators because the nuclear power plant's going to go out or something, you know. And I understand computers have problems, but, I mean, there are backups everywhere. So.
Thank you, guys. If you guys have any questions for them, we're going to have a break, and feel free to come up after the event's wrapped up, and then you can ask them questions on themselves or something by themselves. Right now, we're going to give them a round of applause for me.